Money FM 89.3. Best of breakfast. Companies to watch.
All right, it's time to have our man in the house to walk us through what's good or bad to buy. And of course, Danko back in action again. Good morning.
Good morning, Ryan. Happy Monday yet again. How was your weekend?
Pretty good, pretty good. How was yours, Dan the man?
I was relatively okay. I was quite busy, just being fit over the weekend.
Yeah, IPPT fitness. How was it?
I did fairly okay. Surprised myself because of, I think I wasn't expecting to be able to secure a good score, but I got lucky there.
Okay. I hope everything worked out.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Okay, anyways, welcome to Companies to Watch. That's a segment where we spotlight and stock you up with ideas of listed companies that calls for your attention. So we're looking at market trends to risks, as well as hidden gems or warning signs to steer clear of. 8855-0893. Text us and tell us whether you think it's going to be hot or not. You ready, Ryan?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, for today's Stock in Focus, we're turning to a company that many of us have probably used when it comes to its products before. Intel.
Right.
It's up and coming, especially since it's recently had its CEO revamped. But the reason why I've decided to bring this stock to focus today is because shares in Intel had recently jumped by more than 7% following reports that the Trump administration is in talks to take a stake in the chip maker.
Yeah.
So yes, the reported deal would likely support the technology firm's plans to build a manufacturing hub in Ohio, but the size and the potential of the stake is yet to be clear. So initial thoughts, Ryan, what do you make of it?
Gosh, Intel really in the news back and forth. Of course, what you mentioned is the latest development, reported development, by the way, not official yet.
Yep.
And also, like you pointed out, no details on the size or investment. But it goes into the narrative of bringing manufacturing back to the US when it comes to some of the more important technologies. But again, no, it's been back and forth. I think much earlier when we talked about Intel and Trump, it was in a more negative light, and he was calling for the CEO to be sacked because of what he dubbed conflicts of interest. And then a few days later, he made a bit of about turn to say he is an example of a success story. So I'm not sure what to make of it.
It's a roller coaster of events that happened in the past few days when it comes to Intel. But yes, let's dive a little bit deeper into what it could possibly mean for the company if the government got involved. So according to White House spokesman Kush Desai, he said that discussion about hypothetical deals should be regarded as speculation unless officially announced by the administration.
Okay.
So yes, like what you've said, nothing is official as yet, but it seems like it is developing and we could likely expect more information to come in the future. So according to analysts, the reported move would be a lifeline for Intel, offering the company funding and government support. That's certainly a green light for them there, and it's crucial for the chip maker, seeing as, it's been struggling in recent years after falling behind in the AI race, with rival Nvidia leaping ahead. So Intel's stock market value, just to give you some perspective, has more than halved to about $104 billion since 2020.
Yeah, it's really fallen from its golden days.
Exactly. So yes, many believe that the deal would likely signal a deeper intertwining of the government and private businesses in the US. That follows a trend seen elsewhere in places like China. So if we look at how, they fare or how they are positioned within the space, Intel is among only a few American chip manufacturers that is capable of producing high-end semiconductors at scale. So its planned Ohio factory, which is reported to be a key part of talks with Washington, it's been touted as a key part of the company's future. So they had initially planned, to make the factory the world's largest chip manufacturing facility, but developments has since, faced numerous delays. And while it's uncommon for the US government to directly support a single company, the backing of Intel could be a special case, especially since the stakes are considered high for America's chip-making edge. And they are likely to put them in a better position at competing with global rivals like TSMC as well as Samsung. And the Ohio plant, it is likely to ensure that the company is able to make high-end semiconductors at home. So that would also, I guess, leave them slightly less reliant on overseas, would you say?
Yeah. So I think the general idea is that the US wants to be more independent when it comes to making their own chips. What form it takes? Is it going to be taking a stake in Intel? Is it subsidies? How are they going to push it forth. And I think that's a big question. How are they going to execute it?
Yep, that's right. Now, if we look at the pros and cons of this deal, we're seeing, plans for the US government's involvement in Intel, likely, granting confidence in the firm's role in national tech infrastructure, especially amid global chip shortages and heightened geopolitical tensions. So a sizable stake would indicate long-term state support, reducing financial risks, and lifting investor sentiment surrounding Intel shares. So it will likely improve domestic production capacity and help ease supply chain constraint and position Intel as once again a key player of the US semiconductor industry. So in short, it could prove to be a sustainable recovery for Intel's stock. But despite meaningful increase in the Intel share price today, analysts are still a little unconvinced that a government investment is the answer to the company's underlying issues. In fact, some have said that Intel's salvation lies in a better vision, not just more money, adding that without a solid process roadmap, the entire exercise would likely be economically equivalent to simply setting tens of billions of dollars on fire.
Yeah, I think we have to remember why Intel is in this position as well. They haven't had enough innovations. They were one of the market leaders a long time ago.
Exactly.
And they've lost ground to many of the competitors.
Yeah, certainly so. And I think as of now, they're really trying to find a footing in this space. And like what you've mentioned, the article also comes days after, Intel's boss Lip Bhutan and US President Donald Trump have gotten into a relatively, slight conflict. Trump, who accused Tan of being highly conflicted due to his earlier ties to China, but yes, has since reversed his comments and said that, perhaps this might be a good changing time for Intel. So while it's not unusual for the US government to take a stake in the company, especially those who needed help, we are likely to see some good support and sustainable, support to Intel and likely to push them into one of the bigger players in the semiconductor space, especially seeing after a few years of slump. So having considered all the factors and seeing as this might potentially be a good probable future for Intel, I suppose my verdict for Intel stock for today has got to be still a not.
Okay, let me play that song. Oh, yeah, there you go. Well, same here. I don't think I'm going to be on the same bandwagon with Donald Trump. There is just so much going on. You need the infrastructure, by the way, which will take some time to really build.
Exactly.
In that time, you don't know what's going to happen. No, are they going to lose more market share? And then you've got to get enough customers to really invest in what Intel is selling. And they've already lost a bit of ground, so not very optimistic.
Yeah, it's not exactly the most optimistic of stock here. I mean, if we look at its share price, yes, it's been up about 20% year to date, but it's currently trading at about $24.56. So more convincing needs to be done, more so than just, Trump's temporary support for me as of now. According to TripRank's, Yahoo and Barron's rating, they're all giving it a whole rating as of the 18th of August. That pretty much wraps it for our analysis of today's Stock in Focus, Intel. Now, Ryan, some fun facts about Intel. Did you know that Intel's chips helped power the first ever live video from space to Earth?
Wow.
That was back in 1995. And Intel is also famous for its 5-chimed jingle. Do you remember what it sounded like?
I think it's like dun 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 dun.
Hey, very good. Yeah, but anyways, officially known as the Intel Bong, it was composed by Austrian music producer Walter Wazowa and made its debut in 1994. So it was so heavily incorporated into Intel's marketing efforts that it was one point estimated to have been played somewhere in the world once every 5 minutes at its peak.
Yeah, because back in the day when you started out with PC, it would play Intel inside.
Exactly. So why did Apple stop spying on its competitors?
Why?
Because they had a lack of intel. And what does the baby computer call its father?
What?
Dada.
Dasa. Okay, got it.
And that pretty much wraps it up for today's stock, Intel.
Before acting on the information on Money FM, please consider if it's suitable for your own investment objectives, financial situation, and risk tolerance. To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.